Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. We're about 20 minutes in, and you're all still here, so that's wonderful. I'm Nora Benavidez, and I thought a lot about how I was going to come here today, whether it's through my role with the Georgia First Amendment Foundation, where we protect open government and free speech in Georgia. I thought a little bit about coming here given my role with Free Press, which is a national nonprofit where we fight for free, equitable, and open connection online and offline. I thought about coming here as a Latina who has been deeply, personally appalled by the indignity and the dehumanization over the last several months of people who look like me. Or, honestly, as a civil rights attorney who has known Mario Guevara for many years. I've appreciated his presence, his, shall we say, unique coverage at times in the community. But the issues that bring me, and I believe all of us here today, in support of Mario Guevara, really are us coming together in our most fundamental capacity, troubled by where we are headed, and the way that Mario Guevara's case feels emblematic of the disturbing path that the United States is on. Mario Guevara is not a threat to our society, as the government would have us believe, just like others throughout the country that are being targeted for their speech and for their conduct, like students from Columbia or Georgetown or Tufts, some of whom, like Mahmoud Khalil, were detained for over 3 months for exercising their free speech rights, condemning what is happening in Gaza. These students were never threats to our society. Just like Lauren Tomasi, the journalist who was hit with rubber bullets while she was covering protests in Los Angeles, and other journalists that were attacked with tear gas in Los Angeles just for doing their job, just for exposing the facts, laying witness to dissent against an increasingly authoritarian administration. Again, these journalists were never a threat to our society. And in fact, each of these examples show us people exposing a narrative that those in power do not want exposed. None of these instances present a threat to the United States. They're examples of the very reason we have a First Amendment and a Constitution at all. But if people like Mario Guevara are somehow cast as dangerous, I think that says more about the kind of nation we are becoming than it does about who Mr. Guevara is. It says that this country is turning its back on core American principles, principles our founders believed essential to prevent consolidation and abuse of power by a small few. Those founding fathers knew that freedom of the press, our freedom to speak, listen, think, and assemble would be essential bulwarks against overreach of government power. So if the exercise of those rights is now penalized, like it is with Mario Guevara, simply because those in power dislike the message or the messenger, that means that our basic freedoms are not free. They have become privileges doled out for good behavior if those in power allow it. I feel like we're in this really weird moment. I think about what John Lewis would think if he were here with us, because I'm sure that he would be standing behind us. I think about this being the birthplace of Martin Luther King Jr., of the civil rights movement, no less, a movement that clung to and succeeded in part because of people's expression and protest rights. So let's be clear today, because it is an honor that you are all here. Thank you to Senator McLaurin for hosting this. We are here today in diversity, politics, identity, creed, belief, because we are calling for the immediate release of Mario Guevara. He has no criminal charges against him. He's in this country legally. He was arrested while doing a constitutionally protected activity. But albeit that is one that the Trump administration dislikes. And this is the environment that the administration has created. Trump himself has disallowed journalists from the White House when he dislikes their coverage. Congress has gutted millions and millions and millions of dollars for public media just last week, and instead is giving over $170 billion to law enforcement and border police. And even in our corporate media realm, companies like CBS are discontinuing programming like the Stephen Colbert Show because he spoke critically of the way that CBS capitulated to Donald Trump. We're living in a climate of fear and retribution, and it is It is a step of courage, it is a sign of courage when Mario Guevara's children come forward, risking themselves, their own safety, to describe what they have lived through. Our community ties are weakening, truth is undermined as the bedrock of our democracy, and I believe that Mr. Guevara's case is really just the tip of the spear. So in pushing back today, we are not just calling for Mr. Guevara's immediate release, because the very circumstances under which we are here, more than 38 days into his disturbing detention, these are daily reminders of the ways that other people may think twice about filming the police. They may think twice about protesting, and any one of you covering this today might even think twice about reporting on ICE. And that is the point. Mario Guevara's detention sends a chilling message to anyone who might want to exercise their rights. And it is a rejection of the very premise this country was founded on, to give people agency, dignity, autonomy, and freedom to challenge those in power. I look at the pattern, of what is happening, people who are targeted for their speech, then detained for their speech, and I worry that Mr. Guevara may not be the last journalist that we see targeted like this. And so I think it makes it all the more important, probably essential, that all of us, everyday people, journalists, lawyers, lawmakers standing behind us, and other leaders stand up for something better. This is beyond politics, it's beyond time period, it's beyond Atlanta. And if it's Mario Guevara's detention today, it may be one of ours tomorrow. So thank you all so much for coming, for giving coverage and airtime to this critical case and this critical issue. I'm now honored to introduce my colleague from the ACLU of Georgia, Andres Lopez Delgado. Thank you.